Today, we are tackling one of the oldest debates in bodybuilding. Which is truly superior?
Bodybuilding has become increasingly popular among younger men, even schoolboys who want to look fit.
The bench press, the incline press, the dumbbell press, all of those basic exercises, and that's what you need to do.
So lying dumbbell curl.
Did we just make lap training great again? Gym Optimizer and daisy chaining, and this is the best sagittal pull that I've done yet. Help increase activation in the target tissue.
From 20 to 120 degrees. Best relative leverage seems to be between 40 to 90 degrees, so ideally you want peak resistance within this.
The important thing is that you train the proper way, which is to train the basics.
Old school bodybuilding, or the new science-based era. We're putting the golden era's classic exercises head-to-head with the modern-day optimal lifts. Muscle group by muscle group, exercise by exercise, until we find out which style, once and for all, truly comes out on top. First up, we have chest. I think if you've ever hit the gym, you know what this is. It's our regular barbell bench press, but this is our old school variation for chest, and it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It gets the job done. Honestly, this is not the most efficient exercise for hitting chest directly. That's why I don't do it too often. It doesn't, and it feels weird on my shoulders. My grading scale is how well is it able to be loaded, what's the accessibility / setup, and how good is the pump. For accessibility / setup, it's a 10 out of 10. For being able to load it, I give it like a 9.5, but I don't think it's like a true determiner of strength alone, especially in chest. For pump, I give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It's not my favorite. Very rarely do I get a pump from bench press. I mean, you've seen all these like optimal science-based lifters. What's your opinion on them and their exercises?
A lot of the exercises I feel like are based on something you're reading in a magazine nowadays. It's just a basic pyramid. And everyone wants to sling in a whole bunch of weight as fast as they can. And it works for some, but it's not a proven technique from like back in the day. Weight under pressure forms better.
This is the incline cable upper pec fly. And so far, I don't love it so much. This is the setup. I feel like a prisoner, like somebody's gonna take advantage of me. And this is the movement. It feels a lot more like a frontal delt. Supposedly, this is one of the most optimal upper chest exercises, and I'm not really feeling it in my chest too much, but we're gonna try to adjust it and see if there's anything here. Okay, so I put in that hand, and then how do I get this hand in? For loadability, this is like a 3. Like by the time you load it and everything, you have to at some point lift the weight to get to your other hand, and so you're already pooped. For accessibility, it might be even worse. I'd probably give it like a 3. You have to have both cables. You have to have 2 cuffs. And it's just not like you have to get it perfectly even. It's definitely not a good exercise in my opinion. For pump, I'm gonna give it like a 5. The obvious winner for chest would be the bench press, which is old school bodybuilding wins this round. Okay, can you help me get out of this? Next up, we have tricep, and we're starting off with the old school. This is the standing dumbbell tricep extension. If you ever played a sport and you had a coach that was born in the late 70s or early 80s, he made you do these because he saw Arnold Schwarzenegger or any other golden era bodybuilder doing these. Oh, okay. For pump, it's pretty solid. I give it like an 8 out of 10. For the setup, it's incredibly easy to set up. It's super accessible. I give that like a 9 out of 10. For loadability, this is pretty hard to load because you use a lot of your stabilizing muscles, a lot of your core, a lot of your lower back, and to actually get the weight up onto your shoulder and then over your head takes a lot of effort when you could have been using that energy towards your set. So for loadability, I give it like a 4 out of 10. Which one do you guys lean towards more?
That's a toughie, because I think there are like maybe like some new angles that people like to go with and have their own preferences. Old school, that was like the foundation of like starting all of it.
Plus I like extra reps.
Yeah.
Heavy and extra reps.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Kind of like the mix of the old school and new school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Oh, there you go. That's old school, baby. All right. Next, we have a seated arm-restricted, elbow-supported, arm cuff cable tricep extension while holding a D handle for moral support, I guess. And you know you made it into science-based territory once you look like you're being held hostage. All right, bro. Tie me up. I don't know what the D handle's for, but to make it a little bit more zesty. So you're just like, There's no way. This is like, how do you set this up by yourself, bro? Oh my gosh. There's absolutely no way you're setting that up by yourself. So for accessibility and setup, it gets a 0. For loadability, it's actually not that bad. Like I could see myself loading this, so I give it like maybe an 8. But for the pump, I think it was better than the overhead. Honestly, I'd give it like a solid 8 as well. But just because the setup is actually horrendous, and there's no way you're doing this unless you're with somebody, and somebody literally has to tie you up, I'm going with the old school bodybuilding over the new gen. I'm sorry, I can't do this BS, bro. There's absolutely no way. Please never try this exercise.
That puts old school bodybuilding in the lead with 2-0.
I'm Christopher. Sean Vu.
So there's new gen bodybuilding and old school bodybuilding. Which one do you lean more towards?
I would say old gen bodybuilder. I like the new gen.
New gen, okay. How do you feel about like the optimal new school lifters?
It's kind of based on science. You know?
Okay, yeah,
Science-based lifter.
More science-based.
It's pretty good if you want to like get like a certain muscle group like bigger, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Which one is more obnoxious, do you think?
I would say the new gen. I mean, they're both obnoxious in their own ways, but I gotta go with new gen.
Now we got legs. I'm gonna be doing the Tom Platz sissy squat to your quads. It looks like quad suicide, but we're gonna give them a go and just see what happens. Oh my gosh. For accessibility, I give it like a solid 8. I feel like most gyms nowadays do have these. For how much you're able to load this one, not very well, because the starting point is already so heavy. And if you're like a very inexperienced lifter, I don't even know if you'd be able to do these within the first year. Load, I give it maybe a 5. It's not the best. This is a crazy quad pump, especially for something that's considered a press movement. Quite possibly one of the best quad pumps I've gotten on a press movement in general. So I'd give this like a solid 9 out of 10. Next up, we have the Smith machine squat. I've never been very fond of these, to be completely honest. But yeah, supposedly this is like one of the most stable leg movements you can do. So we'll give it a little tester and I'll let you know. Because did you see how deep I was going? I was going butt to the ground. Okay, and that's like the first thing I noticed about this exercise is it's so stable. You can go so extremely deep because you're not falling over. I feel like the accessibility and setup is super easy. It's about the exact same as the hack squat was. So I'm gonna give it another 9 out of 10. As far as loadability, I would say this is way better to load. I gave it like an 8 out of 10 for load. And then for pump, I still got a solid leg pump. Not quite as good as the hack squat, but I'd still give it like a 7 out of 10. I honestly think I'm gonna give it to the Smith machine. The only reason is that is not nearly as a stable movement as this one. This is the first exercise that I believe new gen takes the W on. Let's go. I like this one. I think I'm gonna implement it a little bit more.
That puts the score 2-1, with old school bodybuilding still in the lead, but new gen making an impressive comeback. Maybe I underestimated new gen.
Fatigue, like I don't care about that. Honestly, if you get enough rest and you eat right, like that's the least of your worries.
Which community do you think is more obnoxious?
Oh, science-based, like pisses me off. Like the videos that I see online, majority of the people that post those videos are just like, they look like they just step foot in the gym. Maybe that's just coming from my insecurity of like, I would never do that at that stage. So it's either I'm insecure or just I have a higher standard for myself before I even attempt to like kind of have that confidence.
You heard it here first. Corey wants every science-based lifter to die. Moving on to biceps. This is the barbell curl. This is probably the first bicep exercise ever created, besides maybe like curling a rock or something. This is about as old school as it gets. Gosh. Out of all of these, this might be the most accessible unless you go to Planet Fitness. So accessibility, I give it like a 9.5. And the setup is super easy as well. Load the plates. If you can only do the bar, only do the bar. I would say that this is probably one of the best loading exercise for biceps that there are. I give it a 9. It's super easy to load. Pump, dude, this might be a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna give it another 9. My only complaint is that you get a shooting pain right here, like most of the time, and I think it's because of the angle. Because of that, I'm gonna bump the pump back down to like 8. Next up, our new gen bodybuilding exercise for biceps is lying curls. What's his name? Mike Israetel. These are like his favorite bicep exercise or something. Don't get me wrong, dude is obviously well educated, but Mike, these do not seem like the move. I'm gonna trust you on this one, but yeah, I don't know about these. Oh my gosh. It is hard though. I don't think harder always means better though. Dude, I'm done with those. Those make like all the blood go to your head. I'm not very sure about that one. As far as accessibility and setup goes, it's very easy. Obviously, just regular bench. So I'll give that like an 8 out of 10. Load, this is not the best exercise to load on because I could barely do 15s. So I don't feel like my biceps getting as much weight as it could. So I give that like a 5. And for pump, the pump's not horrible, but you also get a pump in your frontal delt because you're having to stabilize like this the entire time unless you have a super high bench. So I give that like a 6. I think the obvious winner would be the old school bodybuilding barbell curl.
That makes the score 3-1. It's not looking super bright for new gen, but I still have hope.
This is our old school back movement, and it's extremely controversial. If your dad is as old as mine, I'm sure he's made you do this at some point in your life because this is how they were literally taught to do it. Arnold would do these. It's the behind the neck lat pull down, and they only really recommend doing this unless you have like excellent shoulder health, and I do not have the best shoulder health. So we'll see how this goes. Dude. Let me explain to you what's going on. You're hitting your lats, yes, you're hitting them directly. You're hitting them at actually a pretty good angle. The reason that I think people would bias these is because you kind of squeeze your top back when you do it, but you're not using your top back. It's like I'm getting a cramp in like my upper trap. Oh, dude, actually no, my shoulder is tweaking. Oh, okay, I can't do any more of those, those hurt. Ooh, as far as setup / accessibility, it's easy. I mean, it's just, if you have a lat pull down, you can do these. So I mean, those get like an 8 or 9 by default. I would say for the load, you're getting like a 4. And then for the pump, I don't think I could get a pump because it's so uncomfortable. Like my shoulder felt like it was about to be hurt the entire time. Another 4. I would not recommend these. I wouldn't do these. These suck. These are a no-go.
And this exercise is going up against the
pull down strap, pull down with a D handle. I don't know if people actually do these or if this is just a gag, but I guess I'll let you know how this goes. Low key? Wait. Let me go up and wait. And I'm dropping this, bro. I don't need that.
Oh, you have to use.
No, that's actually pissing me off. It's pissing me off. Loadability, dude. I went heavier than I anticipated, and I still was able to pull that weight. I think this is a very loadable movement, so I give it like a 9 out of 10. Genuinely, like this is pretty decent. As far as pump, that gave me a great lat pump, a lot better than the behind the neck pull downs did. Accessibility, you give it like a 7 because I don't think most gyms carry this. I would implement these into my actual back day.
New Gen takes the cake with this one. That makes the score 3-2. Will New Gen be able to tie it up in the final round? Let's find out.
I honestly go for New Gen.
Okay.
Just because that's like what I know. I always be seeing stuff like on TikTok and shit.
Which one do you think is more obnoxious?
Probably the science-based ones. All about like whatever the fucking is the trend or whatever what the studies say and shit.
Yeah.
The old school ones, like they just keep it real.
The New Gen optimal science-based lifters should die.
Yeah.
All right, bro, I appreciate it. I'm doing a behind the neck shoulder press or military press, and I'm not looking forward to it. I actually ended up hurting my shoulder in the first few months of lifting doing this exact exercise. Gosh, it's so weird. Okay, let's start with pump because the pump on that, on my frontal delt, was actually not horrible. I have like this click in my shoulder every single time I do it, and it just aches. It does not feel good. This is like, for shoulder health, this is probably one of the worst movements you can do. So for pump, I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. For accessibility and setup, it's easy. 7 or 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I would not recommend loading this exercise. I don't feel like I could do much more weight than this anyway. Load gets like a 4 out of 10. I don't see a bright future for this one.
Let's see what NewGen has to offer in the shoulder department.
Cuffed cable, behind the back, lateral raise. It's a mouthful. This is not like a crazy setup or anything. I don't have to strap myself down or anything. So we'll see how it rolls. To be completely honest, I do these quite a bit. I like this movement a lot. Super deep stretch, and then tension all the way through the movement. So already super solid. Yeah, dude, these are so solid. For pump, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. For load, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's like kryptonite touches your skin. You automatically can only do like between 5 and 15 pounds. The NewGen bodybuilding exercise works on this one just a lot better, actually. I think a mix of the both is great. You have these movements that are perfect, something that's like a, what's some of the, oh, like the, what's some old school one that I liked a lot? What? Compound? Yeah, like almost every compound lift is an old school movement. Those are very necessary, especially when beginning in the gym. Yo, we are trying to hit 50,000 followers, 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We can do that. We're probably gonna do a massive giveaway. I'll be giving away all of my love to you. Yeah, that's all I can afford right now. But genuinely, if you guys can get me to 50K, maybe we'll do something fun with like a specific follower or something. So I did not mean to make that suggestive, but it kind of ended up being. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. Dude, we have the craziest video ideas, something you've never even heard of before. We're gonna be doing. Peace out, y'all.